Hello and welcome to Story X Story, the podcast by My Matter that dives deep into stories across pop culture, brings you closer to the people who make them, plus gives you advice on creating your own. It's episode 252, and I am your co-host, Nigel.
I am Tazziii, content creator, voice actor, and co-host.
And that is true. That last one is definitely true. Just did some internal fact checking there. So, as always, we're bringing you interesting discussions with diverse voices. And today, we're our own diverse voices. We do bring the diversity wherever we go, which helps. But yeah, it's a special episode today. So we are here at the Bernie Grant Art Centre doing a live, well, we're not live, we're live, but
we are actually technically live.
we are
live
also,
in the
yeah.
Discord,
So actually we are live. So this is a doubly special. So yeah, we're here in person. We don't usually do this, but we had an opportunity to work with the Bernie Grant Art Centre in Haringey, specifically Tottenham. And specifically just down the road from me. It is important.
Not from me.
Yeah, important detail. But yeah, so we are going to be putting this episode out on YouTube as well as the usual podcast feed. So if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, you can actually, well, depending on when you're listening to this, you can go on YouTube and actually watch the episode. Might be one in a blue moon situation going on here. So it's just me, it's just Tazziii, and we are going to be talking about 100 meters as well. So yeah.
I just realised I've got like a new fidget dragon.
Okay.
Which is what I normally have on the podcast. Now, because I normally like to do something with my hands.
With the thing.
And I don't have it because it's on my desk.
Oh,
I'm like, I need something. Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
We're good. So yeah, it's just us today. But yeah, same podcast, same format. Let's get into it. So listeners, you can subscribe to Story X Story wherever you get your podcast from. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube as well. You can also send us your feedback and questions in a variety of ways. You can chat with us in the My Matter Studio 77 Discord, which we are live. Yeah. This won't mean anything to you if you're listening to this because it's already done. But
there's other live stuff.
There's other live stuff.
Discord, so.
We'll talk about that in a moment, but there's other live stuff. So there's a Discord. You can email us, studio77@mymatter.com, or you can throw your thoughts at us on social media. So we are at MyMatterTV on Instagram and TikTok, at mymatter.com on Blue Sky, or at Life of a W Gamer on Instagram and TikTok, and at Tazziii on everything else. You can also head to mymatter.com to check out the My Matter brand, see what's going on there, see if we have a new website yet. At some point.
We've been promising it for a long time now.
It's funny how the priorities kind of chop and change over a year, but it is coming. So, but what's there, we'll give you a brief overview of the brand, the comics, the events that we do, all the other stuff. So definitely check that out. And yeah, there will be something new in place at some point. Next up on My Matter is actually talking more about Studio 77. So I think because of where we are in the year, we've got some interesting things coming on the Studio 77 platform. I mean, this is one of them that we're doing. So we've got this special episode, we've got something coming on YouTube, but Studio 77 is our digital platform and community where creatives at any stage can connect, can grow, and create together. So we are on a mission to equip generations to thrive on that creative journey, and you can share your journey with us. So depending on when you listen to this, we'll have a new summer challenge coming up.
Yeah.
So you can join that, and then along with that, that will come as part of the Studio 77 report. So that's me and Tazziii checking in on the journey. Each season we'll do a check-in, and then that's where you can share your journey with us and get involved with the challenge as well. We have recently been to Comic-Con. So with these mics that we're talking through, we'll be also recording our panels at Comic-Con. So I know certainly the anime panel is going to go up first on the podcast feed. So it'll come. We're in a bit of an anime stretch because we've had having a lot of anime conversations.
Yeah, because even our interviews, like
anime interviews, One Piece, what we're going to talk about today, and then panel from that. So yeah, we're going to put the audio from Comic-Con on that panel discussion up on the podcast feed. And then we've got a discussion on the Do I Look Like a Gamer campaign.
5th year anniversary.
There you go. So we got that. So we've had another discussion about that at Comic-Con. So as well as the live stream, which we're going to chop up and put on the podcast feed, we're also going to put that discussion. So that'll be over summer as well.
Yeah.
So we got it as well as the the usual like games night, casual conversations with comic creators, some special episodes coming over summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so join the Discord, Studio 77. It's in the show notes somewhere, or the YouTube description. Oh, I get to point down. That's what people do.
Yeah, you can point down.
Yeah. People listening can't.
There's like a clicky box here and a thing here.
There
and
you go. Yeah. I want people
comments
to do that.
there.
Yeah, they do all that.
I mean, they move it. Comments can be there or there, depending on
There's
which
a
platform
coordination
you're
you need in that. So somewhere, but we might be doing a lot of pointing. So
there.
audio listeners, this will mean
Or
nothing
there.
to you. Smash that like, that subscribe button. That's what people say. So
Yeah, smash the like button and hit subscribe.
there you go. All right, I might have to actually get used to saying that. Like seriously. So yeah, we've got that. We've got the Studio 77 Discord. So join that, chat with us there. With all that being said, we do have the main story discussion to come, but let's get started with some of the other stories that we've been consuming.
So this is our spoiler-free discussion on what stories people have been playing, watching, reading, listening to. I don't know if that's on there, but I'm adding it now.
Oh yeah, that is one as well. Yeah.
So we'll start with me because we have no guests, so I get to ramble on for a bit. This is a surprisingly short amount of stories compared to what I normally have, with a surprisingly short amount of words and titles.
Okay.
There's only one
long title.
longish title. It's not that long though.
It's quite long.
I think it just has big words in it.
There's lots of syllables.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is I don't know if you call it Ranma and a half. It's like Ranma and then a half symbol.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's Ranma and a half one. I don't know. But I'm watching that. I've watched the season 1 and season 2 of the 2024 one on Netflix. Oh my God, everyone that's recommended this to me, and I think a few people on the podcast have recommended it.
Yeah, it's come up.
Thank you. It's so good. Like, it's really, really good. I think I might go back and watch the
because it's a remake.
Yeah.
I
might go back and watch the older version because, like, I'm absolutely loving the remake. It's like, do you know what it's about?
I did because I looked this up once and I forgot. I feel like is it very slice of life?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I can't remember.
It's best to go in it.
You don't know.
Knowing,
okay. I genuinely have no idea. Yeah. I did look it up once, but yeah.
Because obviously people spoke about it, but I completely forgot what it was about. But the one thing I will say is it's like if Dragon Ball Z was a romance with another spin.
Did not expect that.
Because there's so much action in it. Like,
oh, right.
And like...
It didn't strike me as action.
Oh, it is. So if you're someone that's like, oh, I don't really like romance, this is the romance that you want to watch because it's like, it's very action based. And it's like, I think this is the perfect one. You know, like how a lot of anime either leans more to its like male audience or more to its female audience. This is one.
Shoujo.
Yeah, this is one that's like very balanced. Like there genuinely is something for everywhere. I guess because you're following. Like
it's good.
Just watch it.
Okay.
Basically, okay. So the premise is, without spoiling it, the best way to describe it to someone. But you have to watch it. Don't let this put it off because you have to watch it to know because there's like a twist. And if I tell you the twist, you'll ruin the experience. So it's a family that run a dojo, and the dad, there's three daughters, and the dad is like, oh, my friend's bringing a son, and one of you is gonna marry him.
That's it. That's
as much as I'm giving you. Oh, cool. And that like one of the characters like, that's all I'm giving you. And that's you've just got to watch it to but it is genuinely brilliant. And the way that things just get more and more like dramatic, like as new elements get added, is just so good. Like, and then there's like the dads in the show act so nonchalant, like all the time. Like there's all this madness going on, and they're like just sipping on tea unless it's something they care about, and then they're like, ah, and then they're just as bad as everyone else. And also like there's all of this stuff. I said like Dragon Ball Z, but in romance form, right? I guess it's kind of slice of life, but not really. It's more action than it is slice of life. If it's the slice of life of a Dragon Ball Z character.
It's a good description.
But like, so all of this mad stuff is happening, and like a lot of it's set in a school, and like people just, and like even just like in their local community, like everyone's just carry on like all of this madness that's going on is just normal.
Cool. All right, I need to check this out.
It's just so much, just makes it so much funnier.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah, I really want to talk about it, but yeah, I can't. It will spoil it. It will spoil it if I say much more. But please, if anyone has watched it and wants to talk about it, like just we can do a little chat about Ranma in the Discord or something. For those who have already watched it. And then I started this anime called The Warrior Princess and the Barbarian King. I feel like it needs an appropriate warning of like, it's not for kids. It's not for kids. Maybe like older teens, but it's definitely not for kids.
All right. Age warning noted.
Age warning, yeah. Not in like a massively way, but I wouldn't recommend it for. So
like subject matter complexity or just like graphic? No,
definitely graphic. Not complexity. Just like it's a romance, but yeah, like young adult audience and up. But it's about that's what it says on the tin. It's about a warrior princess that meets a barbarian king because they're like opposing kingdoms. And they meet on the battlefield, and he literally kidnaps her. This is like episode 1. This is like premise. He kidnaps her, and then maybe all isn't as seems. Maybe the person that thinks they're like the hero is like the princess. Like she comes from like a town, and they call the others like the king that kidnaps her a barbarian based on things that they believe to be true, but maybe not everything's as true as she thinks.
What might seem.
And then there's like, what might seem, and then it's like the reflection on things, and that maybe they've been going about things the wrong. Anyway, it's very interesting because it's quite like it's actually quite wholesome, but in a non-wholesome backdrop. I don't know, like it's like underneath the surface it's wholesome, but on like first episode you're like,
it just doesn't look like it.
And then it gradually gets wholesome. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then the next one is I don't know how to describe it. It's called The Light in the Mist. It's actually a tarot puzzle game, but there's also a story. So you play through each major arcana is a puzzle, and you play through them. You start with the full, and then you can play them in any order, and they're like of varying difficulties and various types of puzzles to come up with a word, which then leads you to the word index that you then match up to a insert of the story, and then you read the story, and then there's like things that you collect on the way. So it's like a text adventure, but as a puzzle,
and has a story,
and has a story.
That's
so
interesting.
And the puzzles like have multiple answers.
I was going to say like is it like a choose your own adventure?
Fate,
yeah. Yeah. Life
chooses your adventure. Yeah. Kind of is, but you've got the puzzle. Like, so you do the puzzle, figure out the word, match up. Or you can do multiple words as well. If you figure out the words, you can do multiple outcomes.
Okay.
And then the word will take you to an excerpt that tells you some of the story. And as you uncover the more of the story. And what's interesting to me, obviously as a tarot fan, is how each puzzle relates to the major arcana that it's based on. and the story as well. The excerpt that you read of the story based on that tarot card will have something to do with the meaning behind that tarot card.
Right.
And it works really well. And I've done quite a few by myself, and then yesterday done 6 major arcana, 6 of the puzzles with a friend. He's actually been on the podcast before, so just Janelle McCurdy, who we've interviewed on the podcast. Yeah, we worked our way through 6 of them, and it was so much fun. And my favorite puzzle in that game is the High Priestess. Oh, it was so satisfying figuring it out. And like, they're wildly different, the puzzles. You don't know, like, is it going to be a thing where you got to move the cards into different positions to be able to see the thing? Like, do you have to like do maths? Do you have to like? They're so
quite
like
varied.
Really varied puzzles. Yeah, like you really have to wrap your head around it. And we were like, should we just do one more? Should we just do one more? So we maybe spent like 6 hours.
Oh wow.
Doing them because we were just like, one more puzzle. You know when you're like, one more game. Yeah. So really, really fun, and like it's quite an interesting story around it. But we got to the point where we're like, we don't care about the story. We just want to do the puzzles. And then it changes how you get the story, because it's like memories. You're going back through memories of a person,
right,
to uncover the story. And so they're different flashbacks, and obviously you're getting them in whichever order.
Fragments, like different.
Yeah, but they always work, because then you'll start to put the puzzle together.
Okay. That's a lot of designing.
Yeah, it's really clever. It's really, really clever. So they're the stories that I've been reading, watching, or playing, and in one of the cases, it's reading and playing. But yeah, what are your stories of this week?
So I've been continuing a few things.
Yeah.
It's kind of that time where there's a few things, specifically Daredevil, I want to get into, but I just want to wait until we've got a bit of brain space, and I can immerse myself in that. So continuing some things. I have finished The Legend of Vox Machina, which I don't think I had the last time we spoke about it, so I just wanted to put a cap on that. That's a great show.
I need to get into it. What is it on?
Prime.
That's
right. Yeah. So it's a Prime. It's. I'm very impressed. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Just very impressed. It's mentioned it's based off a first campaign of Critical Role, and you don't need the knowledge of the campaign to get the story, because I had no knowledge of it, and it just, it feels good. It's interesting. It feels like, from a distance, it feels like it has the trappings of like a 4Kids animation, just because. So it's a party. They don't know each other. Different personalities. They grow. They go on adventures. It's not for kids though.
Looks like it's for kids.
It's not for kids. But yeah, just very impressed at season 3 is finished and season 4 is coming. I can say I'm sort of impressed with like the character arcs. It's very mature. It's more mature in terms of like sort of blood and gore, because that's in there. Like romance is in there, but it just handles it with maturity, like the arcs, the growth that the characters go on. I'm very impressed. And knowing the length of like Critical Role episodes, like hours and hours and hours, to condense. I mean, we just had a discussion about One Piece and like condensing. Although I feel this still doesn't have as many hours as One Piece, but just a lot to condense. And I'm very impressed with it. So season 4, at one point before the end of season 3, I was like, how are you going to get season 4? Because this doesn't look good. But it's, so it's come back. So I don't know what's going to happen for season 4. Be interested to see that. I think someone mentioned it's the last, like season 4 is the last one, because I guess that's the end of the campaign. Yeah, all right, I'll watch it.
Your guess is actually better than mine, because
probably because I've watched
it.
So very impressed with that. Looking forward to more. I think it's coming in June. Have been continuing Gardens of the Moon, which is a high fantasy novel I've been reading by Stephen Erickson. It's the book that's proven my brain is broken on long form reading.
Why?
No, just because, and I know I've thought about this. I think I might have mentioned it, just because when I was a kid, when I was younger, I just read a lot of fantasy. Like, this is like in my wheelhouse. But for a reason, between then and now, just like it's taken me longer, just gaps, just getting distracted. I can feel the distraction.
You need a better first book to get you in.
It's
one of those ones that you literally cannot put it down.
Yeah, maybe one because it's a big like complex book like that. I'm really enjoying it though. It's well written from, I think, from many angles. It's the first book, so because it's like high fantasy, so there's a lot of new
sort of introducing
new people, new factions, things like that. So a lot of that, but for whatever reason, so there is that processing that goes on, and languages and races and all that, and the book kind of moves from, we're here and then we're going to look at this and we're going to look at this, and some of these are going to like connect. So it's doing all of that, obviously, for a first book. That
can be hard to get back into.
If you
that long gaps, when you've not used to that long form, when you've taken a break.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm having some of that. I know this is all on me, but the interactions between the characters are just fun to
let
watch.
Me add that to my story graph.
It is, I'm realizing that even though if I've left it for a while, I'm having that extra processing of remembering, oh, what does this relate to? And I'm sure I've missed some things that I need to go over. But just when this character interacts with that character, and then that's fun to read. So very impressed with that. And hopefully over time, I'll be able to just get that habit back. That's what I want to get. So I might need to mix things up with like shorter books and
more like less moving parts.
Yeah,
because those things are really interesting. But if there's
a lot of moving parts,
and you've not read a book.
Yeah.
For a while, you've not like.
Yeah, at least on this scale.
Right,
so
adding that to my to-read pile.
So I've been enjoying that, and then my last one is Bob's Burgers. Just every so often, could just dip back into the well of Bob's Burgers. This average, and by definition, just average, maybe below average actually. This family, possibly below average family, and a burger restaurant. I think I'm on like season 10. There's a bunch more seasons. I've sort of.
There's quite a lot, isn't there?
Yeah. I'm impressed at how they've, because I remember the early seasons were very much focused on the restaurant, and then that can only go so far.
Yeah, then they start to kind of like
you've got to branch out.
The space and
So that's been interesting to watch, and just the dynamic between them, because like the dad Bob is just run of the mill, and his kids, particularly Louise, who's just my favorite character. Just reminding like we suck or you suck, Dad. But it's such like a leader in that family, and it's just nice to just watch a couple episodes, and then been entertained. So enjoying that, especially for this time when we've got like just busyness. Just put that on and enjoy. So
maybe you can't really dive into a good book and
definitely. I'm trying. I'm trying. But so those are the stories that we have been enjoying. Now let's get to our main story discussion. We are here to talk about 100 Meters, the sports anime produced by Rock and Roll Mountain and directed by Kenji Iwasawa. The film released globally for streaming on Netflix and was licensed for an English language release in North America by G Kids and in Australia by Shujoy Co. I watched the English version. Cool. All right, so spoiler alert, we are going to talk about all the spoilers that we've got time for in this story. But before we get to that, and I'll do a recap. I've got to mention that as well. So I'll do a recap of the story. But before we get to that, let's get everyone's, and by everyone I mean us. Quick takes.
Everyone in the room.
What did you think? You see the poster? What do you think? We'll get our quick takes, general impressions. Tazziii, what did you think about the story?
I think it was like really, really beautiful. Like it's interesting because it spans like across quite a few years, and sometimes that can be quite jarring if something jumps, but the way that it like moved forward was quite, like, it worked really well with the subject matter. Because it's like, I think you get the sense of like the movement, because it's all about running, right? So it's like the moving forward. And then just like anime has this thing where it makes sports so deep. And this is one of those ones where it makes, and such a simple sport of like,
and quick,
not even just running in general, specifically the 100-meter sprint. And it manages to make it so deep and meaningful. Not that that isn't, but like to the level of like, this is a 10-second race. We are only, it's not like we're focusing on track and field in general, or like even just track in general. It's literally just
this bit.
that bit of it. And it's so like meaning of life, self-reflecting, like, and just like this beautiful story. And we follow like a few different people in that, and we get their like journeys across the space of like 10, no, more
20
than 10
years.
years, 20 years, because there's a whole 10-year job.
Yeah.
So like starting from school, I can't remember which school age it was, but yeah, like young school.
Things like,
to,
is it junior high?
Maybe.
It's like an Americanized.
Yeah, like junior high might be a little bit earlier.
It might be earlier, because I think one of the older kids was in junior high.
Yeah, I think it's earlier. Trying to remember, it's hard when it's in American terms, because
do the conversion.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's earlier than that. They're quite young, like, and then we follow their journey into like deep adulthood, like early, like, but adulthood, like fully fledged adults, like living a life, jobs, and and from different age groups as well. So it's like this thing as well, because by the end of it, everyone's sort of in the same bracket, but they're all like spanning like quite a few different age groups. Because we've got like someone that's new in, and then like the like one person that's like retiring, like, so it's the full breadth, and like they're quite a lot older in terms of like for continuing a sport at that age, like they're the upper end of
still got
that,
it,
like they still get it, but they're really like, people are like, should you not, should you don't, like, so I found that really interesting as well, and there's all these different layers, and then on top of that, it's really beautiful. Like there's one scene, I'll talk about it later, in particular, that was like, damn, that really just
I know you mean.
Really quite impactful, actually. Wasn't expecting it to be that level of impactful.
Me neither. So this is one of those where, so there's certain things we put in a schedule, or specifically I put in a schedule, because we know we need to talk about this or this area of things, or like just personal things might be interesting.
Or we've got a guest that we know that loves that. And they kind of recommend it for us.
Yeah, and this is one I just took fly on, basically.
Because we were literally like, oh, we're going to do this recording next week. And we was going to do
different animation, like Western animation.
Yeah, but it was just like, didn't know what platform it was on. And then I've got Netflix at the moment for like a month. I don't plan on. So
we take advantage of that.
I'm like shuffling through subscriptions, right? And so I was like, can we do something that's on Netflix while I've got it?
Yeah.
And then he was like, what about this one? I was like, okay.
But I've had it on the radar. I was going to do it later in the year. But I wasn't sure, because sometimes if it's a film I think we're going to do, I'll try not to get too deep into it. I'll just leave it for then. So it's later in the year. So I was going to. But I just knew it was anime sprinting, and that was it. So I didn't know what to expect. Like you, I was really impressed with this. This felt like Whiplash on the racetrack.
It was kind of like the essence of it was like that Whiplash flavor.
Even the way it ended, actually, which we'll get to. So by that I mean like essentially the pursuit of excellence, and in this case success, and what's the cost of that, and that the way it approaches it in terms of the different perspectives, because I feel like with Whiplash, you're watching sort of a duo dynamic, and then this is like you're getting different perspectives on that question, and I thought it was like fascinating. I thought it was fascinating to watch. And
it was like, do you know what as well? Because a lot of media, especially more Western media, which I've kind of started to hate the term Western, but that's a whole other story. But tends to make things very
black and white. Yeah.
Hero, villain.
Yeah. This is not that.
And your characters then tend to have like their growth arc tends to be like they were here and now they're here. Whereas this was like more realistic of actual life, of like they're really like the ebbs and flows of like, I had this thought, then I realized this thought, and then actually I realized something else. And like I grew and changed, and it wasn't like a linear or a sudden this to this.
No, for
it's
sure.
like I
maps
learned
on
something
life
cool.
more.
Yeah, this thing happened that like was a big impact. Like there's a few issues of like injuries and stuff, and those things have like a big impact, and then can massively switch your view. But then that might not be a correct. That's like an overcorrection, and then
Right.
and so people like I've noticed some of the characters kind of like have this view and then this view and then
they change their
move away
perspective. They
from
learn. Yeah,
running and then move back into it, and then like so that less linear growth and character development is way more reflective of like real life.
Yeah.
And I think especially for like it'd be nice to see more of that in media, because we learn so much from fictional media.
Yeah. I was going to say this feels like something you can learn from in a more realistic way, rather than, because when you do the sort of this versus that, it makes more of a statement, but not necessarily in a nuanced way.
Yeah.
Whereas this has a lot of nuance to it you can think about.
If all stories are like that, then we start to try and map our lives on that.
Yeah, then you're either on this side or you're that side.
Yeah, and then even like character growth, like if you then don't suddenly become successful, like you do all the work and it's like, because that's not how it works. It does work more like that, more of like a ebb and flow.
Yeah, just really impressed. Surprised, impressed in the best way. So I really enjoyed this, and I feel I need to rewatch and go through that question. And it's one of those where you then think about it for yourself as well.
Yeah, I had so much self-reflection while I was watching it.
So definitely that. Yeah, so I'll do a recap and then we'll get into this. So this is a story that takes us to Japan, somewhere in Japan, some school in Japan, where Togashi is one of the fastest grade school. There you go. Thank you, notes. Togashi is one of the fastest grade school sprinters. Later on, he catches transfer student Komiya running and asks why. Komiya explains that he runs because it blurs reality and lets him escape. And Togashi says that being the fastest runner can solve his problems, but it was up to him to make that happen. So Togashi starts training Komiya, and he does improve, but Togashi is concerned about how obsessed Komiya becomes and some of his form in there. But sports day arrives and Togashi wins his race easily. But during Komiya's race, he starts strong, but falls, and literally falls, then gets up and makes a frantic dash to the finish line, winning his first ever race. Togashi is then invited to interview alongside junior high runner Nigami, and they race, with Nigami surprised at how good Togashi is. Later, Komiya asks Togashi for a race, which Togashi agrees to. Togashi takes an early lead, but Komiya has a final burst that gives him the win. Komiya says goodbye and limps away, having injured himself during the race. The next day, the school are told that Komiya has had to move for family reasons, and that's that. Now in high school, Togashi has won the junior high championships for the 100 meters, but his performance declines because of pressure. He meets Asakusa, who tries to recruit him for the track and field club and at first he refuses, but eventually changes his mind. They needed one more runner for a relay race and recruits Nigami, he's back, who had to quit sprinting after a back injury and just pressure. There's a lot of pressure themes in this. They race Nigami's former rivals and end up getting second place, and the club gets to continue. Meanwhile, Komiya ends up going to a school known for track and field and meets Zaitsu, telling him he wants to beat his national record. Komiya advances to the national high school championship, and Nigami does as well, but is defeated by Komiya in his heat. With heavy rainfalls during the final, and even though Togashi is the favourite, Komiya ends up winning, leaving Togashi shocked and in the rain. 10 years later, in the future, Togashi runs for an agency which has struggled to produce results. He realizes that he wants to race Komiya again, and after a series of wins, finally qualifies for the national championship. However, he suffers a muscle strain during practice, and his doctor recommends he stop running and rest for the remainder of the year. Seeing this as his final chance, he decides to compete anyway. And at the championship, he wins his semi-final heat, with Kabaki finishing second. And in a surprise finish, Kaido ends up winning his heat with Komiya in second. The final race arrives and Togashi and Komiya take the lead and reminisce about when they raced as kids. They are both smiling as they cross the finishing line, though the winner is left unclear. The end. So yeah, we're going to definitely talk about that final. Just thinking about how this came together. So this is actually based on a sports manga written and illustrated by Uoto, who made a one-shot and then later serialized via Credentials magazine pocket website, and then collected into 5 tankobon novels volumes. And I did not know about this story. I don't know if you were familiar with it. So this is brand new. So I didn't know it like the backstory to it. But the author is also behind a story called Orb on the movements of the Earth, which I'm now interested to investigate that as well, because seeing what he did with this, I had to check out the manga as well. So I guess, like me, you were not familiar.
I had no idea about it beforehand. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that the anime existed until you said it. So I'm clueless. I'm like,
okay, it's brand new. So what I'd be interested, I don't think you can answer this question necessarily, but given that we just spoke about One Piece, I guess it's more of a statement or thought. Because with One Piece, you were very aware of the source material. Relatively speaking. At least like the anime, let's say, take the anime as a source. And this is another thing that's been adapted. And I don't know the answer to this. I guess you don't know the answer to this, but it's, from what I got so much from it. But then I'm like wondering, given our previous talk, like how, if I go and read the manga, how much is in there that wasn't in there? So it's that question of adapting. What do you adapt? What do you take out? Just, it feels from how I felt watching this that they got whatever they needed to pull for that. They got the right things.
I think as well, because you said that it was started as a one shot, right?
So originally based on a one shot, yeah.
So I think also the difference is like when it's a shorter thing, it's easier to
okay, that's a fair point.
Get more in. Whereas like One Piece is
it's
however
endless.
Many chapters. Because I think like quite recently, Atelier came out, and that's quite close to the source.
Right.
So it's not like it can't be done.
Okay. It's just a challenge of when it's so much.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I don't know, because I've
not seen it. Okay.
And then it's also already, I wonder how much got changed as it's like been put into volumes and stuff. Sometimes things are tweaked to.
Right, got you.
So there might already be a few different versions of the story. But I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe we'll have to like read it
manga,
and then do an episode of that,
and then we can say
this
sucks. They missed out. They missed out this. They missed out that. Where's this character?
So that would be really. I'm actually really down to maybe next season.
Okay.
We'll
do some reading.
Because we've done it before with
All You Need Is Kill.
Which we'll also be doing an episode
the trilogy.
On.
Well, sort of trilogy. The spiritual trilogy with Tom Cruise in there. So okay. So and like I say, it is fairly new, to be fair. So it was the adaptation was announced at Annecy, which is like the place to go, International Animation Film Festival in Annecy, France. So this was in 2024, and then had a world premiere June 12th, again at Annecy the next year, 2025, and then later released in that year, eventually finding its way to Netflix. And and I think for me, this is sports drama. Like sports drama is a common format for telling a story, but it's had I don't know if soul is the word. It just had a lot in there.
Yeah, like the sport isn't. It's just the vehicle. I feel like for me, and this is one you still have to watch, but it's a lot like with Ted Lasso, where
I will get
even
to that.
though it's a football show, it's not really about the football. About that, it's about the connections, and I feel like this is similar. Actually, I would say this uses sport way more as a vehicle. Like there's way more sport in this, but it's still just the vehicle. It's not about the. It's
not like the ins and outs of
like I don't even know what the record time is. They do mention it,
but it just
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like that like I don't know. So there's actually not that much in it in terms of the sport, but they were running. Like I'm very aware.
Yeah, all the
like
time.
I'm watching. They're running all the time, and when they are racing against each other, I'm like I'm cheering them on as if I'm watching them in real life. But it's still not about the sport.
That. Yeah,
It's so interesting. It's so well done.
Yeah, there's a good quote I pulled from Elijah Gonzalez from Paste magazine. Who says 100 meters is less a standard sports story about willpower and determination, and more an introspection on why people care enough about running to sacrifice their time, body, and mental well-being, which is interesting point to come to. So yeah, it's definitely it's not about a thing.
It's not about, and I think as well you can replace running with anything, literally anything that people are passionate about. Yeah, and it would make as much sense. So like, I guess that's where it becomes relatable.
Yes.
To a wider audience.
And that's how you make your stories. I mean, there's different ways to tell stories, but it's how you make your story not just about you need to know about a thing, but then also this thing connects to you, and here's how it connects to you. So so then definitely a vehicle for this wider discussion about life, basically about life and the pursuit of thing. And then the way they frame it as well from a narrative perspective, because you talked about you're following different time periods essentially. So you follow Togashi, who is, well, I guess at the beginning I would say he's the main character. Yeah. There's multiple. Yeah. Yeah, because it not only skips time, it skips ahead in time, but also explores other people. Somewhat basically, Togashi and Komiya as well.
Because I would describe it as rather than Togashi being the main character, I would call him the central.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because his story is the center of like the story. He's not even central, because that sounds like it's really like the anchor. His story is the anchor story.
For sure.
We always, at the beginning of each section, we always start with him.
Come back to him.
Yeah. So he's just your like route to follow, so that you've always got something to like keep you anchored in the story.
I get that.
Rather than jumping, because like some stories, I'm going to use actually Game of Thrones as an example of this, at least a book. Yeah. You jump between the characters, and it can be quite jarring. Like it can work, but it can also be jarring and off-putting sometimes, which I definitely found with reading Game of Thrones. Is like I was really into one character,
and then you go somewhere else.
And I never know where
how it connects,
going, and which story we're following. But this, like, we're always like brought back. Let's ground ourselves in that, and then we can explore everyone else's story. And so I think that's I don't think I've seen it done to this degree.
Which is also tightly.
Because we still really explore everyone else. Yeah. We're always like. I never feel like we're like it doesn't feel like we're jumping between characters, but I feel like everyone was seen. Everyone's examined. And Togashi is an interesting character because we see him from childhood, and that's the thing that you said, it's like from childhood to young adulthood, and his thing is he's a child prodigy, because that's when we first meet him. Everyone's like, oh, you're so fast, and why would we race against Togashi? And he's not even just fast, he's got good form, and like he really enjoys it. He's not like worried about, he'll just he'll race against anyone.
It's like very much the process. And he's also the one that, this film has like a thesis, and he's the one that states it. He quite openly as well. And one of the things I've often said on the podcast, and just anyway, is that whole idea of exposition, and particularly for me anyway, particularly shonen anime does get into what I say is the bad way to do exposition, but for some reason it's okay, it's fine, it just works. So this film, it does it, but in a good way, and in an intentional way, because of the type of film it is. So he says, as a kid, he's like, running solves all your problems. He's very the film's quite open through him, and eventually others later down the line, and saying, this is what this film is about, this is what we're going to explore. And as kids, they don't necessarily talk like kids, if that makes sense. They talk like Why I feel like Togashi is like talks like a philosopher.
I think Togashi in particular,
Togashi in particular. I mean, but it just works because it's intentional and for this type of story, it's needed. And then we're like, okay, this is what it's about. Yeah, and then we go and we examine their lives, and you know, there's two questions I was going to ask about that format. One you've kind of answered because you said that the time skips weren't a problem for you, because that could be a problem. Did you find you were still emotionally connected with that journey?
Yeah, because I think again it goes back to like that. It always comes back to Togashi, and we see where he is at that point, like, and I think and as well the time skips become bigger and bigger, so it's like kind of works its way up of like we're jumping this far ahead and then we're and I think because like the first one's like between school things, which is quite a natural jump that we all recognize. We don't need the ins and outs. We get the story that something's happened, and I think they just explain each jump quite well. Like we're kind of they set the scene of like where we are now quite well. Like,
we're often well grounded when it jumps. Here's where we are, and then but the overall the question is still there.
So like it's even like when I think the biggest jump is maybe into adulthood, because we've been in like a school setting and then we're like in a work setting. I think it opens up after that jump in the meeting about his contract ending.
Oh yeah.
And so we have a little bit of a question there, which is a good question of like, oh, what's gone on?
Yeah.
We can see he's in a work environment, and then it kind of fills it out. But like, I think I never felt like super jarred of like, that doesn't make sense. Like
I feel that.
It quite nicely flowed on.
It all flowed. And so, and then the other part was like Komiya, who is an interesting character, like, and their relationship or kind of relationship is a weird one because they're very different characters and they obviously represent different aspects of that central question. And even as a fan of some sports, most sports, I say, but there's that question of like natural talent versus effort and work to get to a high level. And they both reflect that. And when we first meet Komiya, what's interesting to me is Togashi helps him. Just like it always like creates a monster in his own his Frankenstein there. So I felt that's an interesting start to their relationship. Because like Komiya is clearly the outcast. He feels like,
and he's also like, I think it's commented on that he's quite shy. He's a bit socially awkward. And what's quite interesting is he stays like that, but compensates, which I think is like a thing that a lot of people who do have that kind of like social awkwardness can connect to. Is like, because then later on, and he's like winning things, and he's in the media, and he can talk to it. But I think like even you see with his teammates or like people that are around him, he's still disconnected in a way. Which I thought was interesting. But and then he talks about he talks about the numbers, like I've calculated everything and and it's almost like that's his way of like connecting with people as well. And I thought that was really interesting because he had to try really hard to get that. Like he's really out of breath. Like I don't know if it was like he was almost asthmatic. Like
he was struggling.
Like it was kind of like a medical like thing that was holding him back. And then Togashi is like not only naturally good at running, he's quite charismatic and popular. And even though he equates it to that he needs to be running to get that, he seems to just be charismatic anyway.
I get that.
Because even the run club, because one of them knows who he is.
Because they revere him. Like,
and then, but the other one has no idea who he is. But she's still drawn into his.
He does have a way.
He does seem to have charisma. Anyway, so it's quite interesting that like one is naturally talented and charismatic. and brings everyone together. Like he even brings Nagami back. So he does have, even though he's like, oh, people won't rate me if I don't run. They clearly do.
Yeah, but I think it's that thing of when, especially as a kid, and just like so much of like childhood impacts later. But he's tied that this is what I do, this is who I am, and if I don't do that, if I'm not good at that, then that's a common.
Yeah. Even though there's been no evidence, like in the show, in fact, there's evidence against that. Like his friends in school, even like, oh, it's boring, he's not going to come and hang out.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, because he's ditching to help.
So it's clearly not the running that makes him popular. They want to hang out with him anyway.
So it's that kind of situation. So we see Komiya just a different style, and good introductions, because Togashi, you see him, he just everything just looks like it comes so natural and so and
so
then
easy.
Even Komiya he's running like he's doing all this kind of thing. So clearly we see, even if the sound was off, the two different characters, we see elegance and grace versus effort, and then we go into it. I think what I like about the film is it doesn't glamorize anything. Even the people with success, even they're not glamorized. It's very much, even though it doesn't go into the depths of running, you just get the impression that these aren't celebrities, don't have everything figured out. These are people, and they're struggling with different things. And again, just that relatable aspect to it.
And that like no one has all of the answers.
Yeah, even though one character has clear clear answers. But
because so many of them go back on what they say as well. They're like, oh yeah, I said this bit of advice before. And actually, I've realised that that's not necessarily true.
That's a good point.
Which is nice, like recognising when you're wrong or new information.
Or just No, it's good. It's good. No one gets cancelled, which is. And then we've talked about some of the other characters, and what I really liked about this is that exploration. Because I'm big on themes, and I like when a film is engaging themes in different ways, and particularly through its characters. So the central issue, the central question of this story is then expanded by different characters who take on different points of view, and then allow us, like you said earlier, as the audience to go, okay, here's, I might align with that, but then here's another view, I hadn't considered that. Now it's introduced in a non-confrontational way, just like, here's another character that exists and this is their perspective. So you've got, the question here is like, what is running for, and what is it worth paying as well, like that cost. So then Togashi, very much, his identity as well, but then also we see it as a burden because he gives it up, and he starts that rumor that, was it like he's injured?
Oh yeah. Because
he's like, oh, I thought you were injured, and it's like, yeah, that was just a rumor that I started. He's like, what? No, nothing. So like, just that burden, which I can understand that. And then Komiyo's that obsession, because he has that. I think Togashi asked him at the beginning, like, do you like running? And then Komiyo replies, no, it's tough.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's not even necessarily enjoying
it. He's just kind of which also the thing that I think the one like question mark over all of this that I have even at the end was what is Komiyo running from? Like what is the thing that's so bad in his life?
Yeah, that was never really explained.
That was never explained. Like, and then there's like, oh, family stuff. Like, did he actually have family stuff going on, or is he the family stuff?
Yeah.
Like that never quite got answered. Like, was that actually?
Maybe that's a manga. Maybe that's in the manga.
Yeah, because it's like,
if we had read it, we'd be complaining right now.
Was there something in his life that genuinely was really bad, or was it like his perception of his life?
Yes.
That was bad. Like, I just had so many questions about that.
I had questions about him as well.
Want to run away, like he was running from something.
Yeah.
Like he's always been running from something.
And he had an interesting moment where, because his shoes, he had like beat up shoes.
Yeah.
And I think Togashi, he was like, oh, you need to get new shoes. And he's like, I'll take them up. So he take them up.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I'm like, oh, is his family poor and he can't afford shoes? But then he says, no, they wanted to
buy me. And then I just had more questions, because I was the same. I was like, maybe he didn't have parents.
Yeah,
like,
that's what.
Was my immediate thing. I was like thinking of Kotaro alone. Like this is like same story, right? So I have so many questions, and then I'm like, does he have parents that are maybe putting too much pressure on him because that's an overall arching theme, or something else? And so, right, I don't know.
I have to
But
rewatch
there's
that. I wonder if anything else is hinted at, because I feel like nothing was hinted.
yeah, like I was constantly like, but why? Why does he? Why? Like I want to know so badly. Maybe it is in the manga.
Manga,
Right?
yeah.
I'm gonna have to read it.
Okay,
now,
there we go.
I need answers.
Yeah, because he's very much like, I guess he is performance based. Because he talks about, I want the record, and yeah. So that's interesting. And then Nigami, or even Kaido, who's the older guy with the beard,
The like grey,
he was
blonde,
yeah,
or, he was like light haired.
The,
Everyone else was like dark haired.
yes, yeah, he did stand out.
Yeah.
But I think earlier Nigami, who is the running for is completely obsessed. Where because Togashi wasn't necessarily obsessed in the same way, because he was like just.
He still enjoyed it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he was naturally talented, but he just genuinely loved running. And then because even when he lost the interest in it, it was like the spark had gone for him, and then it wasn't until he ran for the
relay.
No, yeah, but before that, when the club, is she like the club captain?
Yeah.
Just was like, I just want to see you run.
Yeah.
And then during that running, he's like,
back.
The club came back. And I think because in that moment there was no pressure for him to run. He was just running for the sake of running.
Right.
And that's what he loves about it, right?
And I guess that's what he didn't do, because his thing is he pushed himself to the point where he injured himself because it was just all consuming. Okay, so it's that.
No, but he didn't actually injure himself.
That was his back injury, right?
Oh, you were talking about
Higami.
Yeah, sorry, I was.
Oh, sorry, Nigami.
Yeah, Nigami.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he had the back injury.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
he's struggling with that.
And then, because the other thing that's interesting about him is that his dad was also a famous world record-setting runner.
Yeah.
So he had like the double thing.
So I guess there's that as well. So yeah, his perspective was just because even when he meets Togashi when they were both younger, and he's just like, essentially you should be better. You've got 50 times more, and he's just max out that. So that's like another aspect. And then
I love when he's like, "Oh, I bet you've improved a lot," and he just goes, "Yeah,
50 times." Yeah. I remembered. And then Zaitsu, he didn't get as much maybe time. But he was he had the record, and he was doing the actually it wasn't it was motivational for Komiya. But he was just his view was like, because he was talking about, push beyond your body and your limits, and you're just a collection of cells. And
I was like, does someone want to take the mic off of him?
So he was like, in a sense, like a hollow representation, because he didn't enjoy, and maybe enjoy wasn't even a concept for him. It was just like the ultimate point of excellence and transcendence away from human limitations. So it was was
the real like whiplash, like
I was going to say
suffer for the goal.
But then he represented that. Yeah, if you do that and you just take everything else was taken out of it as well. So it's like, what does that say? So and then even maybe it's 5 quarters, there's different perspectives on the question. So I really enjoyed that. And I think maybe Kaido got even less time, because he was
but he was I think he might have been my favorite.
He was very relatable in the sense that, so taking the sports angles, because his thing is, I'm good, like he knows that, but these guys are better. And I'm always in second place. And it just reminded me of, I don't know if you're a tennis fan at all, or I'm not a massive tennis fan, but I always, when I look at it, I feel sorry for Andy Murray. I don't know if you know.
I know who Andy Murray is. But...
So Andy Murray is a very good tennis player. I'm not well versed in tennis to know if he is like one of the greatest or it, but he's very good. And he would have won a lot more, but he was in an era where not only did Roger Federer, who is definitely one of the best tennis players, come along.
I know who that is.
Okay, you might recognize his face if you see him, but he's a Swiss tennis player. Okay. It's just like, we talk about elegance, so you just maybe like Togashi, just excellence and elegance and that. Then you get Rafa Nadal, who's like all power, also one of the best tennis players ever. And not only that, then Novak Djokovic comes, which is like a
Yeah.
combination of both of them. You got elegance or just like power. So like you then got Andy Murray. He's not winning anything. He's a genuine.
And it's not because he's bad. It's just
not
because he's
bad.
up against
Literally
great.
3 of the best
Yeah.
tennis players ever in his era, and
'Cause I
that's
think-
what I thought of.
And because Kaido says something as well that people often tell him he should have been born in a different era.
Exact same thing.
Because he's
Yeah.
up against
The
like,
best of the best.
like absolute Goliaths of
Yeah.
the sport. And he's like, but why would I want to be? And that's why I think I really liked Kaido. He's like very optimistic in
Yeah.
a way, but grounded optimism.
Yeah.
Like, because he's like, I don't want to be born in a different. This is the era I was born in. Like, that's a weird.
He accepts where he is.
He accepts where he is. Yeah.
yeah.
But he's always like, I'm going to change my reality. Like, but to change my reality, I have to recognize my reality.
Yeah.
And like that, I don't know. There was something quite beautiful in his like. He was. And one of the things he said as well was like, I don't give up because I know it's possible for me to win.
Yeah, actually, I remember that. He had a lot of
I aspire to be
like that,
like him, because he was so happy and content but still wanting to push himself.
It's like content with where I am, but wanting more.
Yeah,
and you see him in that later race where it's like, oh, I'm acknowledging these two are. And now here's what I'm going to do about it.
I think they get some like inner monologue of him being like, I'm second place, always in second place, and he's like, I challenge this reality or something, like his inner monologue, and then he just, and then it's just a beautiful moment of everyone just like trying, and I think because that's also the point where Komiya is doubting like how far.
What's the point of
What's the
this?
point of it? Like I'm pushing and break, like. When does it run out? Like I'll just always wanna. And then Togashi is like, you just need to enjoy. You're so far ahead, you're not enjoying running because you're like not getting to compete with anyone. And he's like, let's run together. Like we're gonna race against each other and have fun and enjoy the moment. And I think in that moment, it's like even the way the camera is and everything in that shot, it's like you see them all kind of like enjoying.
Oh, that final shot.
Yeah, that final race, and I think it was really like Kaido really like made that punch. I'm gonna change reality.
Yeah. So is he the one that resonated of those like different perspectives? He's the one that resonated most?
Maybe not like resonated in that I feel like I'm think like him, but resonated in a way that I like aspire to think like him. Yeah, like that's. And he was just, I don't know, he was so happy. But like not in a toxic positivity way, like just
content.
Content and like acknowledging himself, but not defining himself by his current position.
Yeah, I think he had there's a lot like anyone can learn from that kind of perspective.
And he was such a small part of it.
Yeah, I think of all of them, he had the least screen time.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Maybe,
So then, so we see we take these jumps. So at that point, because they're adults at that point, Phil.
That's after the 10-year.
So they're adults, and we've been on this journey, and we have seen the different perspectives. We've seen people change their perspectives or have perspectives challenged, and then we're all the while asking this question like, why do you run? What's it? What's the cost you're willing to pay? So the film uses running, like we've mentioned, to represent that. The trials of life. And I do like how they've inserted other aspects of life, particularly with Togashi, onto that. And we see like him in a work situation as well. And then, so the film is always asking this question. But like Whiplash, which I mentioned, it doesn't necessarily say this is it. And to your point earlier about it's not black and white. And as I'm watching, particularly that final race with Togashi, Komiya, and it's like, I had the same thought of watching Whiplash, like, if this filmmaker knows what they're doing, this film ends right here. And this film ended right here before the end of the race. But what's interesting, I think over the film, no, we did get to see some races finish, but I feel there was some intentional key moments where, I'm trying to remember one scene where I feel it went black. Oh, which race do you remember that? There was a race where
Did it?
either went black or went to a view and it just held the view as the race was going. So you could hear the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. There were some angles because there was one race where I was like, wait, did Togashi finish the race?
Yeah.
And it was like, it looked at his feet and it watched him stop. But I was like, did he pass the line? But
yeah.
he did actually pass the line. The race did finish, but the way the
camera, you didn't see any of it.
You didn't. It wasn't like you saw the end shot. Like
no.
We just saw that he didn't win that race.
Yeah. So I think there was like times where intentionally it didn't show you the result.
Yeah.
And then particularly the ending where for the ending is that, you know, here's a space for interpretation, and it was like them neck and neck out in front and then smiling. I think for the first time in the film, like both of them are smiling because they've had a discussion about what does this all mean after they sort of reconnect. And it's like, okay, that in itself is the answer. Like that moment, it doesn't matter who's won the race. So I just think that is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, like Whiplash ends in a similar way where you don't really get a clear, this is what this means.
Yeah, like there kind of isn't an answer.
Which, there you go.
And because as well, that moment is, like I said earlier, it's like when they all kind of come together. And to me, what I got from the final kind of messaging is that there isn't a right way. There's loads of different ways, and you just find the one that works for you. And that's the right way, is the one that's for you, because they all had different.
Do you think there's a way that doesn't work of what we saw?
No, not necessarily. Not maybe long term. I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking Zaiatsu in particular.
Yes.
Because that's an interesting way to live.
I think there's ways that maybe aren't sustainable forever, but I don't think that makes them inherently wrong.
Okay.
I think that might make them things that you only do for a moment.
I think that's a really good point, actually. And I think this goes to the nuance of it as well, where, you know, let's say if we're comparing to Western and anime, where, and I'm obviously generalizing and not all films like this, but you might see, particularly with animation, you might see like, this is the way to live. So we're going to show you this thing, it's black and white, this is the way to live forever and ever. I think you just made a good point of what we see in this film is not only there are different perspectives at the time, but actually when you're at this stage, this might work. There might be a stage where Zaiatsu, you might need to adopt some of that to get somewhere, but not forever. Yeah,
because like even Togashi, like he's had one way his whole, and then for his whole life, and then he it's kind of common that he's changed, his race style has changed.
Because who mentions? Oh no, obviously it would have been Komiya, because it was in the race where Komiya wins and he turns back and said, "You changed your race style." Yeah. Because at first he was, I was going to say mechanical. I guess mechanical in that effortless or seemingly effortless way, and it seemed, I think he at that stage in his life, can I enjoy this more? And he tries to like change it.
And then he like even gets to the point of like he gets an injury, and he was very it was one of the things I loved about him as a kid was like rest is part of training too.
Yeah, true.
And then he's challenged with you've got an injury, like you
not for me.
Your race, it's really not recommended. And then he kind of gets through like an existential point of like, can I coach? And his breakdown in the middle of the park with the cheerleaders. So I feel like at that moment he's like, maybe I can coach, and then he's like, but I don't want to coach. And then he goes to like a different doctor, right? And then I guess a better doctor that could accommodate him, maybe not in a most sustainable way, but enough to get him through the race without adding too much damage. Yeah. But you couldn't live like that forever. And even because Komiya, his injury, actually, he's in mental. Right. No, but I think there was a point later on, even after that point, where he got over the mental thing. And I don't know if it was Togashi that commented on it, someone commented on it, that you can still see that his leg there's something up. And he's like, no, I fought my way out of that. But the injury was still visibly clear to someone. I can't remember who brought it up.
I think it was a new character. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, maybe that younger one, because there is that. Who's the younger one?
The kind of like, oh, you're my hero.
the youngest, like he's the newest in the, because that's what makes it interesting. There's someone like that's really new, like he's
who's
fresh.
just coming in. Yeah, I've forgotten his name.
And then we've got all the way up to like Kaido and Kaido's rival thingy.
No, that's a good point. I'm thinking like as I'm watching it, and again, there's different ways to tell like stories, different approaches. Because in one way, you could criticize this film for not. It's not necessarily. It's nuanced, but it's not necessarily subtle. Like we are talking about this thing.
Yeah.
And these characters are talking about this thing.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing because it's the intention.
Yeah.
Another film could have a completely different like narrative and everything, and be like lack that narrative subtlety, and it'd be a bad thing because it doesn't work for that. This works for this kind of film. Things like understanding what your story is about and the best way to tell it. And you know, we talked about some of the characters, but I feel like the visuals are a character in this. And even you mentioned a bit where Togashi breaks down, like visually.
Oh,
that's a mess of a person. Like he breaks down in front of his two kids, and these kids are like,
they're like, let's get out of here. And it looked great. Like it really visually captured like the emotion.
Yes.
Like you could have watched that without sound.
Like
the
you said, with the
running, you can still
see like
get the
what he's
beat,
going. And it's like it's like obviously not just that moment. It's the whole life of having this pressure of performing and what does it mean, and then that just catches up with you.
I felt that too. I was like, can relate. Maybe not for running, but can relate.
It's very very relatable moments, and I think going to the style or the visual style as well, because it uses this rotoscope style. That's essentially, so it's where I think the animators essentially trace over real life footage of things to make it more lifelike. So they use reference film of a scene and then animate the motion in a more lifelike way. So we get a lot of heightened expressions because of the rotoscoping. When they're running, like the expressions there.
You get a lot of like movement in it.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So I thought that's like really effective. And I don't know if you had any standout visuals. I was going to come back to what I think you were referring to earlier about the rain.
Yes,
scene.
so that is
that
my
whole sequence.
Standout. Because they start the race and it started raining quite heavily. Or what I would say that is quite an aggressive downpour. But as they're racing, it gets more and more, the rainfall gets more and more intense.
And the sound as well.
And the sound. And then the race finishes and then we're in a moment of like contemplation, I guess, and the rain just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And at that same time, the color is reduced. And then the rain there's so much rain that it just goes white and then it goes dips to black and then we skip it in time. And it didn't just do that, but it held that moment for quite a long time.
Yeah, I think it was like, I think this was the scene. It took 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I think it was that scene. Because again, that's the kind of scene where you might just cut. So the race starts, cut to on track, cut to start race. And this held the whole thing.
Way. And then you're just stood in the rain, and I felt like I was standing in the rain because it was so like the audio, the visuals, like just like I'm there, and I'm like, no, I'm soaking wet. I'm literally standing outside. And I was like cozily in home, like with a hoodie on. It was so intense, and to have you said this was premiered in 2024, 2025.
Announced 2024, premiered 2025.
To have that much confidence, to hold that still.
Yeah, this TikTok generation.
In this day and age.
Is great. And that was a moment, I mean, I was paying attention for the whole thing, but that was a moment where I was like,
yeah, you can't. I was staring at the screen. I was literally staring at the screen watching.
At people just walking out for a race. But I'm just like, because this you feel the moment, you absolutely, and that's even before the race, and then before like the downpour, because that whole thing is because he lost the race.
Yeah.
Togashi lost the race. It's like what this means. Like
and he's like, I don't lose.
Yeah, exactly. Just no, because that's when he said you change your running style. That was the race, I think.
Was it?
I think that was the race. He turned back and he said, you change your running style. It hit him like a hammer. So that was my favorite like sequence in
that was mine as well. That was one. Like as soon as I saw that, I was like I don't care what happens in the rest of it.
I'm good. I've been satisfied.
This is the bit,
But then yeah, there were so many other moments, just the
Yeah.
racing, and then even the lighter moments. I think there were points where I'm thinking, particularly when he's auditioning for the race club something, and he just race. I would just want to see because she wants to learn from him,
No, yeah.
and he just had the moment, and it just that whole thing.
That I felt that moment
Yeah.
of like another moment I can relate to, because like I've had that, like that you just lose the color in things, and then when you do it, and then suddenly you're like, oh, yeah, this is the feeling. This is why I love this thing so much. Yeah, no, like it really hit. And there was quite a few, and one of the interview when they were back in grade school.
Oh, that was yeah.
That whole sequence as well. I think from the way they shoot this as well, like with the crouching starts and stuff, the way they really like. I don't watch much track and field, but they really get those like shots of like, yeah, this is what the
this
Olympics
feels
looks
accurate.
Like.
Yeah.
And like he just guns it, and then you see the moment when Tazziii like pulls back, right? Not Tazziii, sorry. Yeah.
No.
Nagami.
Yeah. In the early days.
In the early days, yeah.
Because they weren't supposed to race properly.
But they started off that they were racing properly.
And he was like, oh, he's good.
He's like, he's gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm like a national gem at the moment. I can't be seen to lose to a grade schooler. And then like Komiya comments it, like Komiya sees it, and comments on it, and like
so he knew.
Yeah. And Togoshi's like, nah, Togoshi's so nonchalant at that point. He's just like, nah, I don't care. No one wants to race me.
But yeah, and even in that moment where Nigami, because before that, it was like, oh, some of the other kids were, oh, are you faster than him? He's like, no. And then I think I don't think I've had this moment, but I'm sure that moment where Nigami has that impression of himself as the best, untouchable, and then he knows. I'm watching the NBA playoffs at the moment, and there's a commentator made a really good point where, because in the playoffs the teams play best of 7, so you could play up to 7 game. Well, yeah, the first to 4 essentially. And one of the commentators said, like, when these two teams play, there comes a point where you know this team is better than that team. And it's so true. You know, they might lose. You could still lose a game, but you know this team's better than that team. And that was that moment where you know this kid is better than me. And I'm gonna let me pull out this, because we all know. So I feel it's like that sports competitive. You just know. You can say all the nice things, but you know this player is better than that player.
Yeah, because then it's even the journalist and photographer. They make a comment. They're like, oh, it's like, thank you so much, you two. Like, we got the shot. It really looked like you were racing for real. I was like, yeah, that's because they were.
Up until a point. Up until a point.
Until one of them realised they were going to lose.
So yeah, I think just the visuals supported this the whole way through. So it looked like anime, but obviously looked different.
Yeah.
So it looked realistic. I mean, it's realistic looking anime. You know, it's not. Yeah,
like it didn't look realistic as in it looked, there's a word for it, but like where it looks photorealistic HD or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that thing's called. It didn't look photorealistic.
No.
But
it felt
it looked realistic in terms of, I think it's because in terms of the movement and the storytelling, like it was grounded in that. I would love to see someone that isn't used to watching much animation watch
what they
that,
make of it. And
if they forget that they're watching animation, especially the type of people that like, oh, I don't really watch animation because I can't really connect because it's animated.
Oh,
so there's a few people that like, because it's not real people, they like,
fair enough,
can't connect.
Suspend disbelief. What's it called?
Yeah, they just there's not an ability to them, and so that's the type of person I'd love to watch this and see if they can then like just get pulled into it and forget that they're watching an animation.
Okay. Yeah. That would be an interesting experiment. Actually, it'd be a fun experiment to do. So I feel like with the main characters, because it's definitely a film about those perspectives and those different takes on the central question. I don't know if there were any of the non-main characters that were interesting to you.
The club girl.
Club girl, Asakusa.
Yeah,
I believe,
Asakusa. I really liked her. She was just like,
She was nice.
yeah,
Respectful.
and like she was really
endearing.
passionate. And like she was also the person that runs, because she makes a comment to Takeshi as well. Like she's like, I'm not good. Like you're good. I'm never gonna be like that. I'm not naturally talented. I run because I enjoy it. And she really is, like, she's 100% there because she enjoys it. And like, and same with the other girl, but they're still passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed her. She was so passionate.
I like their inclusion. I think there's a good lesson there about you don't have to be the absolute best to enjoy the thing. And I think that can be hard, especially if you are going for that. But you can just, and relating back to gaming, where there's a lot of people who like, oh, if you're not good, then you're not like valid. So, and most of the time they're not that good, or as good as they think they are. But you can just like be in it, and they just enjoy the process. It's not about the output, because they know they're not like there. They might be here, but they enjoy that, and that is. And even it's not just fine. It's good. It's like you enjoy life. Oh, boohoo!
Yeah, like
you're a terrible person.
There to be the champion of the sport. If everyone was there to be the champion of the sport, then there'd be no sport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because you would lose the people. Who are you winning against? I definitely like relate that back to gaming. And I think like a personal journey as well. Like I played games for fun, and then got into Call of Duty, and then got to a point where I felt like I have to constantly prove. Actually, before that was FIFA. Constantly prove myself to other people to be able to
be in the space. Yeah.
And then I just went the opposite way, and I was like, I'm gonna absolutely not care at all. And I'm still like, I'm definitely not. I don't spend enough time to be as good as people. But like, I started playing Call of Duty again like a couple of years back. I was good. I was good enough to beat a lot of people.
There you go.
Some of my wins were like very solid. Like some very good shots. But I wasn't there to win. It felt great to win, but I wasn't there to win. I was there to have fun. And I think that's kind of like how she was like, because when they did win, they got second place. In the relay.
But that was big.
That was amazing. Yeah. Like she
and they practiced. They did we're gonna do the thing.
And they done the thing, and that was a great achievement. And they still had fun. The goal was to win keep their club. Yeah. But
which they achieved
without winning. Yeah. It was a win-win. Well, it was a loss win-win.
Yeah, second. Second is first of the line of losers, as some people might say. But they won. They were winners. And I think for me, one of the things is I can't remember the name, or if they even said it, but you mentioned him earlier. The younger character who came up to an older Toshigi. Togashi, and I can't remember his name, but he was like, "Oh, you're great. And I feel sometimes when you're in a thing, and I kind of had this yesterday because I did another podcast. There's other podcasts other than ours apparently. We're Streamcast, and just in the introduction, I was like, "Oh yeah, I did some of the things." You don't, and this is very much a me thing, but you don't think of that, and you also don't think how other people view, because you have a completely different view of it. So that I like that moment, because that was for Togashi. He might not have appreciated, because his kind of comparison stuff is maybe like here, whether rightly or wrongly, but then he doesn't know like the acceptance point was here, and he's long gone past it. And that kid was a reminder of like, you're great, you're doing a great thing, and I want to be like you, kind of thing.
Because he's not only in it, he's also always been great at it. So he's never he has looked up, but not in the same way that someone else that might have to work really hard towards it. But also he's just amongst other great people. So
that's a good point. The standard is
so much higher, but like you said, the entry point is here, and I experience a lot where people are like, "Oh wow, you're doing the thing that's so amazing." I'm like, "It really isn't." What are you on about? But then you forget, because the point that they're at is like not in it, and so
or just entered it.
So your experience, your time, your skill that you've developed is actually nothing. It's like it's so much more compared to what they are, and then even like when it comes to like applying for roles or jobs or opportunities, I think when you're in it, you might be like, oh, I don't qualify for this because I don't have this 1, 2 skills on it. But there's the confidence threshold of like when you just start to get good at something.
Oh,
so when you're learning something,
yeah.
You know you don't know anything,
Yeah.
and then you reach a point where you think you know everything, and then you reach
learn more.
impotence, and you get to the point of you realize that you don't know everything. So then you think you know nothing, and then you learn that and then the next point
and then you become Kaido.
Yeah. And then you know you don't know everything, but you know that you know a lot.
Change your that.
Yeah, and that's where you want to be, that you know you don't know everything, but you know a lot because you've done things.
Yeah.
And you do move in and out of those, but when you're, there's like that threshold, right?
Yes.
Especially at that point, I should kind of hit that stage of, I know I'm good. No, he's at the stage of I think I'm not good enough because I know that there's better.
Better, yeah.
But I haven't realized that actually I'm still good.
Still good, yeah. There's a
because
lot.
I'm still in the top league, like.
Yeah, there's a lot in this film.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and 40.
It's a tight film.
Pack a lot, yeah. So I mean, we've talked a lot about the themes because the themes are just so clear and strong throughout. So we've got the talent versus passion, like we spoke about. We see this in sport. Well, I do, I guess, because I might watch more sports than you do. But
dramatically more sports than actually.
Dramatic. Okay, there you go.
I don't watch
so we see this a lot. Players who are naturally talented versus those who work hard. I mean, they all work hard because there's certain places you don't get to unless you're working at a certain level. But then on the flip side, so one of the classic ones, like, or at least in my mind, like Ronaldo, Messi, like who's better? I say Messi, but so Messi's like, you say, like God-given talent. He's just always been good, and Ronaldo's always been good. But Ronaldo, you can see he was here. I was just like skinny kid in Portugal, and you can see the growth. Like Messi's also gone better, but it just feels like natural. We see this. We see Togashi just from the beginning, just always been good, and then I'm forgetting everyone's Komiya, who we see him literally from the ground struggling. So you see these two different types of players, and see it in different sports. So I mentioned Federer just always appeared elegant and naturally good. Like Rafael Nadal, you can see the effort, not in a bad way, but you can see the effort happening.
Yeah, because Komiya, that's like you had minus skill.
Yeah, flat in your face.
Yeah, the stats were like you rolled I don't know, like a 2.
Yeah. So we see that. We've talked about the pursuit of success and the film asking, what are you running for? What is it worth paying? And then taking the different views on the success, competition, burnout, in the injury as well. And then the kind of not headline one, but interesting one I picked up on is just Togashi and Komiya, that child friendships. Because at the beginning, they were like, not necessarily like friends for life, but he was helping him run and it was quite tight.
Yeah, like it was about to start to be a friend.
Yeah, and then okay, he goes. And then when they connect, it's more like rivals. So it's more like, hey. I thought that was just an interesting dynamic and very realistic because that can happen.
Yeah.
You're very tight as kids. And
I feel like a different, like sided, because I feel like Komiya was more on the rival side and Togashi was more on like the, childhood friend, but then it was like, no, there's
the energy.
that wasn't childhood.
Energy was different.
And it's like, and like, because I feel like for him, he was kind of like, what happened? Like he was really, he really wanted to be friends, but I feel like Komiya, because he hurts his leg, and then he says goodbye. Like I knew from that moment that when he walks away, he's gone, come back, and he disconnects in that moment. They're really friendly, and then he just suddenly
that's a good point.
And like, but I don't think Togashi like clocked on then
what was happening.
He was like, no, we're friends.
Yeah.
And whatever maybe was in the manga of like what's going on with Komiya. Getting back to that question, but so it's, which is also more realistic of like
Yeah,
You don't
'cause
just
that can happen.
immediately know, like, oh yeah, we're rivals now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different levels and different
levels
energies and that.
yeah.
Oh, because he did by the end he did clock. Okay, we're rivals in this. It's competitive rivals. So yeah, it was a minor kind of thing, but just one picked out. Obviously, the big one is as we talked about. So yeah, so I mean, looking at the film and the questions it poses but doesn't necessarily answer and leads you to interpret. Were there any other scenes or moments that left an impression that stuck with you?
There's one actually, Nigami's rival from his
Oh, yeah,
old
got it.
team or
Yeah,
school
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, and he's like giving it like.
Oh, and then his coach comes.
Yeah, because like this kid, I'm like, you're not. I don't think you're I don't think you're talented enough to be. The only reason you're like Nigami's not completely destroyed is because he had a back injury. Like, it's just know your place. Like these are great people. Like and with and then their whole team's behind the coach, right? And there's like 20 of them or something, and there's
just
four in this club.
Really,
and I was like. That just made me laugh. I think, it's just that one kid that like you don't measure up. Stop trying.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. Seen that kid. I think for me, even though I think that Zaitsu, I'm going to say it was an assembly because they were on there.
Yeah.
Just that interaction, just because I guess I've been in that moment where you have people younger than you asking, how do you do the thing? And I always feel a sense of responsibility to give an answer that doesn't close any doors, but gives that. And I wouldn't have done what he done. It's basically what I say. But it's just an interesting interaction and view, because I guess he got to a point where he's so distant from, like, he couldn't bring any humanity to that moment.
Yeah, he was like a robot. Just cells and
it's like, okay. So it wasn't necessarily a positive one, but that struck with me of like, I've sort of been in that position where you ask that question, like, what do you say? So at least I know not to say that. And then to round up the conversation, then we've recently had, obviously I mentioned we want an anime run here, and we talked about anime in the mainstream. And is this the kind of story you want to see more of? And is this the kind of story you think we will see more of as anime becomes more and more mainstream?
I think it's the type of story that I don't want to lose. Do I want to see more?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's definitely a type of story. I don't know how
you
many.
You want it to be in that makeup.
In the makeup, yeah. Okay. I don't know how many of these I need, because there's only so many.
You could have existential crisis over pressures. But
But I want it to continue to have it, to be in the mix.
I feel that.
Yeah. Okay. But if there was too many of these, it would be like, you've got to balance out the fun.
Yeah,
like,
we need some.
It's too exponential to have too many of these.
Yeah. Let me just have a 5-episode boss battle.
But yeah, definitely it needs to be in the mix. I think it's a statement of like how important variety.
There we go.
Is. Yeah.
And lastly, why do you run?
Do you know what? I actually asked that question to myself.
So,
like, I was like, I need to go for a run, and then I looked out and it was raining again. And I was like, I don't need to go for a run because I do not want to run in the rain.
I'm definitely a fair weather runner.
Yeah. I don't even like it being like slightly cold. I'm like, I want to go lovely.
I'm with you.
Though I do run inside because I do enjoy running. So I did decide to. It's like the main reason for joining the gym, so I could continue running. I run because it keeps me fit, and it's the most effective way to keep me in shape. And also for my mental health, like I really feel the communes like running away from things. So I've definitely had like situations where like the mental health is like overwhelming, and like you just run so much that it literally feels like you're running you
away
can outrun the problems. And it works temporarily. It also like flushes your body with, I think it's endorphins, and helps the racial mental mood. But like I've been in that situation. Like I am out of breath, but if I stop running, everything suddenly feels heavy again, and I don't want to stop. But then I kind of like wear myself up and go to sleep after. It's not great if you actually need to be productive.
Yeah, it's a good question. Why? Yeah, I would definitely. Why do I run? I don't know. I guess the health and fitness thing.
It also made me think, because I like do this thing where I'm like, I need to run like a longer distance and this was like, no, I don't. These are athletes. They're only doing a 100-meter sprint. I mean, they're doing it really quickly, but I don't have to try and run a whatever K.
Okay.
Like that's not my goal. Like I don't have to do that. So that I really like that about this, is that it was sprinting.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so much pressure on like marathons and that being like the goal of running. I don't hear much about people who run for like leisure and exercise. It's always like run a 5K, run a 10K, run a marathon, do the strongman, do a triathlon. Okay. Like no one really does the exist in the like short distance. Like that's not what qualifies you as a hobby runner.
Got you.
Everyone's always about distance, and I'm like, nah. I'm gonna bring competitive 100-meter dash onto my Apple Health or running app, Strava, whatever. Like, no one competes for 100-meter sprint on your running apps, right? It's always distance. And I'm like, that's added a new level of my personal running.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ask yourself that question. Why do you run? And then don't tell us the answer at the end of it. But that is our discussion on 100 meters, which I feel was spelled the American way, which bugged me as well, but it's minor. Because we do the RE.
I didn't even look that far into the spelling.
So that's the
There's also
the writer.
there was also like a film or a show on Netflix that was called 100 meters.
Right. Oh, okay.
And I was like, it was definitely the one because it's not animated. But now I'm like, I want to what is that
what
about?
Is that about? There we go.
Is that also about running?
All right. So let us know what you thought. Let us know why you run if you do want to share that answer with us. You can always give us your feedback in the Discord, email as well. Before we end for this episode, we want to make sure we leave with our storytelling tip. Each time we do a deep dive on the podcast, I like to pull out a storytelling tip for others to consider when making their own stories. This is a consideration from someone who also makes stories and likes to learn from the mistakes or the techniques of others. And this is certainly a technique as I go back to four-corner opposition, because that's something that personally was quite a revelation for me when I discovered it on the podcast when we did Princess Mononoke. And it's a really useful framework for expanding your story through characters. And the idea is that you have 4 distinct perspectives on the same thematic question. So rather than making your story a hero versus villain situation, four-corner opposition helps you create some depth in it, and you're playing with ideology and stuff. So I've spoken about this a couple of times. So first, Princess Mononoke, which is the one that really brought it to my mind in episode 32, and also Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, episode 124. And I think the difference here is like those are stories driven by external conflict, but 100 meters does it in an entirely different way. So the idea with four-corner opposition again is that you're bringing in different answers, 4 answers. So each corner becomes a different philosophy on that question, and then the audience experiences that debate emotionally rather than just being told. You're seeing it through the characters. So, like I said, 100 meters does it in a different way. In this story, the 4 corners are not fundamentally enemies. So typically with 4-corner opposition, you have your protagonist, then you have the antagonist on opposite ends, and then you've got 2 opponent characters as well, which you kind of got here, but they're not enemies. So the story sees them not necessarily competing for like territory or power, and most of the time they're running alongside each other rather than necessarily against each other, other than the context of a race. And the tension doesn't come from that collision between opposing factions, but from those different internal answers on that shared question. And so we see that kind of escalation is removed entirely. So the characters are connected by the same passion. All 4 corners are runners. They're all doing the same thing. They all understand the discipline, the pain, the obsession that comes with it. They are in the same world, the same craft, and they're driven by the same thing. Not necessarily by what they do, but then the why they do it, that's where the divide comes in. So we talked about Togashi represents that like emotionally, I feel like recognizable corner, runs to answer the question about his own existence and is very much tied to his identity, which I guess to a fault in that certain point. Komiya, maybe I feel like maybe the most human answer on that. So he's very much we're not sure what he's running from, but there's some issues there that he is running from. I feel like we've all got issues that we're running from. And Togashi, Togashi and Komiya don't fight necessarily, but it's just their existence exposing a different way to live. Zaitsu, the most abstract, and maybe go into a spiritual corner of the examination of the question. So running is like that encounter with the limits of the human body and the possibility of going beyond yourselves or whatever he says. And Higami occupies a quite dark corner because he shows like the possibility of running and just being consumed by that pursuit entirely to the point where you're hurt. So it's seen that like that danger of that total self-sacrifice that can become self-harm in a sense. So I mentioned Princess Mononoke. You've got characters clashing over industry, nature, coexistence. I mentioned Wakanda Forever, where it's more about isolationism and imperialism. And then that's very much external. If anyone's seen Batman Begins, that's another example of like external conflict, although it takes it to the internal where, you know, the question is like, what should be done with fear and suffering? And then you see that explored through Bruce Wayne / Batman, Ra's al Ghul as well, Scarecrow and Alfred all have different takes on like fear and what to do with it. So there's different ways to do it. And then, like I said, they in the Batman case, they embody different philosophies about that trauma, justice, transformation, and that conflict becomes ideological, which I guess is the idea with Four Corner Opposition. I think you're getting to that ideological place rather than, especially with 100 meters, rather than the physical conflict. So here are 3 tips to consider the internal approach to Four Corner Opposition. So number 1 is make every corner answer the same core question. So this works when every character is responding to that single thematic issue from a different angle. And the more precise that question is, the stronger the contrast between them. I think that's what we saw with 100 meters. Number 2 is remember that opposition doesn't require hatred. Like I said, the characters don't hate each other. This isn't about external conflict or fighting. Characters don't need to be enemies to oppose one another. And sometimes the most painful opposition actually comes from seeing a person you respect live differently than you. And there was also a scene where Komiya like interrupts Zaitsu when he decides, actually, I don't even care about what you've got to say. Yeah, that made me laugh out loud. So that was like, there's not necessarily hate there, just I see it differently and I'm going to go my way. Fair enough. And number 3, internal conflict still needs escalation. So even though you don't have traditional villains, you still need that progression in the story. So characters might not be fighting each other physically, but a story has to continue to test their beliefs and escalate. And we definitely see that with the film where the stakes, as it matters to those characters, escalates over time. And that keeps the interest for us as the audience. So yeah, those are a few tips there. Let us know if you're working on your own story and you're thinking about incorporating that. I feel in some way that should be incorporated. It just makes it a more interesting examination in your narrative. But let us know. You can jump in our Discord or email us at studio77@mayamada.com. This is usually where we check in with guests, but Tazziii, how do we end this?
So I've mentioned it before in the podcast, but I was part of an audio drama, which technically the second episode drops on the 21st of June, which is the day after my birthday. So as a birthday present, you can listen to it. So the audio drama or fiction podcast is another way to frame it. It's called The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, and it is a full cast audio drama directed by Sarah McClintock and written by Tom Coffin. So it's primarily a mystery with strong elements of magical realism, light sci-fi, and just a pinch of cyberpunk. Technology, surveillance, and conspiracy are major themes. So the pilot episode was actually nominated for Best Run Podcast at the 2024 Minnesota Web Fest, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool.
So yeah, it is set in a deceptively familiar world of constant surveillance, information overload, and machine-mediated communication. Might sound a bit familiar to the world that we live in. So you can definitely check that out. It follows the story of Lydia, Ryan, and her friends, Lovelorn, Ethan, and wannabe internet sensation Dee. I absolutely adore Dee's character. Oh my god, she's such a great character. As they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance and escape the clutches of the sinister Fontaine family. Yeah, so you can check it out. No generative AI was used at any point in the development of the disappearances. Even the AI character and text-to-speech voices are performed by humans, purely out of spite. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's being produced by Foxbot Media and presented by Moonshot Podcast Network. And you'll be able to get it on your podcasting platforms. So it's on most feeds. And you can also already listen to the pilot episode, the first episode. Now you can go to, it should be on feeds. And also, you can also go to lydiadisappears.com.
Cool. All right. I feel like we might hear more about that over the coming weeks and months.
It's so good. I know I'm biased, but when I read the script, like I was reading it like it was a novel because I was like so into it, and then I was like, I need to stop and just read my bits because I want to listen to it and be surprised. So yeah, I don't know how it ends. There's bits in the middle that I have no idea what goes on apart from my bits. So cool. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll look out for it. And like I said, we might hear more about that on the podcast soon enough. So that is our episode. In a way, our first, we've done in-person stuff, but this is our first intentional in-person podcast thing. So
fully set up.
Yeah. We set it all up ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone for listening, coming with us on this journey. If you're listening, if you're watching, it means somehow we got this edited and put up on YouTube. So thank you for sticking in with us. The Story X Story podcast is just one of the many shows on the Maya Matter Studio 77 network. So we've got the audio podcast, we've got live streams on Twitch, YouTube as well. Definitely follow us there. I guess this is why I say smash that like button. I don't know.
Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. I don't know.
There you go. I'll practice that.
That's definitely not how we say it. We needed like Maya Matter themes, like tune in.
Stay tuned. Tune something. We'll work it out for the next one. So yeah, stick with us there. And we are underway with the Do I Look Like a Gamer campaign, our yearly initiative for improving diversity and inclusion in the games industry. It's quite a challenge, but we're chipping away at that. So we've just, as you listen, watch this, we have released the photos of this year's 40, our 5th year, taking us to 200 photos, and getting started with events. We've just been to London Comic-Con as well. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Go to looklikeagamer.com, and then the next thing we're going to be doing will be there. And if you're a young, aspiring creative professional, or you know one, and you would like to get involved in some work experience, come join us. We have opportunities. If you want to be worked and find out how it is to be in the real world of work, but also fun as well, because we're talking comics and games and content creation. So yeah, check that out. The Showrunners Work Experience Program. We are creating opportunities for young people aged 16 and up to work with our team across comic production, content creation, events, marketing as well. One person like admin, that was a thing. So there's a lot of opportunities there. But that is it for this episode of Story X Story. If you are listening and where you can, make sure you subscribe. Also give us a review, 5-star rating and review. That helps us reach listeners, new listeners and fans of story discussions. We are story creators ourselves, which is why we like talking about story so much. And you can check out our universe of manga online at mymatter.com. Oh, we have visual aids. Yeah, you podcast listeners, use your imaginations, but we've got some banners in the back there. And as for the podcast, we release new episodes on Thursdays or Thursday adjacent days sometimes.
Thursday adjacent.
And those include video game discussions, interviews with creative practitioners and professionals, and deep dives into stories across pop culture. You can always give us a shout directly. Our email address is studio77@mymatter.com, and our website with links to subscribe is mymatter.com/storyxstory. So thank you for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe. And remember, it's not whether you win or lose the race, but how you alter your reality along the way. Take care, everyone.